Now here's Cleve Simpson. And Cleve Simpson, well, he needs a Tommy gun to kill the chickens. Cleve Simpson, if he ever heard about anybody shooting 3 warning shots because they were defending home, person, or property, he would shit his pants. What? They shot 3 warning shots when their life and their home, person, and property was being threatened? Well, that don't make no sense to me. That don't make no sense to me at all. Now, there's a thing here where he had just said, traditionally here, we end up talking about how do we strike the right balance in any number of policy conversations. And I don't think the bill as proposed really strikes the right balance. I think it takes away from the majority of the people, law-abiding citizens trying to do the right thing, and shifts it away from us, said Republican Senator Cleve Simpson of Alamosa during the debate. So this is Senate Bill 25003. It looks like this bill is going to pass because it's passed the Senate. So now all it has to do is pass the House and then get the signature of the governor on it. Now what's incredible about that is that Simpson voted yes for the bill. He voted yes for Senate Bill 3, Senate Bill 25003. And that's what this quote was about, Senate Bill 25003. So he's making it sound like he's against the bill, but as you can see clearly right here it says Simpson and it has yes. So he gave a yes vote to this. And well, let's talk about exactly what this bill is. This bill, let's see here. It originally banned the sale or purchase of any semi-automatic rifles, shotguns, or gas-operated handguns that take detachable magazines, exempting firearms with permanently fixed magazines. So it's very, very specific. It's very, very specific, and a lot of these right-wingers, they act like if they ban a bazooka, then that's going to really hurt their Second Amendment rights. But there's also a Third Amendment, a Fourth Amendment, the Fifth Amendment right to a grand jury indictment. And not only do you have the American Constitution with its Bill of Rights, but you also have the Colorado Constitution with all of its freedoms. Well, he don't really give a damn about civil rights at all. So I've actually pulled this bill up here, and the main thing is that it's going to change the definition of what a dangerous or illegal weapon is. A dangerous or illegal weapon, they're going to scratch out a machine gun conversion device to a rapid fire device. So it seems like they're just going to ban the bump stocks. I've taken a couple notes here. It approves the bill. The bill approves the ban of the sale of semi-automatic guns with detachable magazines. And I think that means semi-automatic rifles, semi-automatic shotguns, and semi-automatic handguns. It's not going to ban those guns outright. It's going to ban those guns that have detachable magazines. Again, they're changing it from not a machine gun conversion device, but a rapid fire device. So the way that definition sounds to me is that they're banning any type of gun that allows rapid fire. Does that gun have a rapid fire device upon it? So the way that it's being described in the media is that there's semi-automatic guns, semi-automatic rifles, shotguns, and handguns with detachable magazines. And you're not allowed to manufacture, distribute, nor transfer semi-automatic rifles, shotguns, handguns with detachable magazines. Now, Tyler Smith of El Paso County says that this stops self-defense. You're not allowed to defend yourself if this bill passes. El Paso County Sheriff Joe Roybal said that it was unconstitutional. But I bet you that damn Sheriff Joe Roybal, he probably don't know jack shit about the Colorado Constitution. The Jewish Florida man who shot the 2 Jewish Israelis because he thought that they were Palestinians, he was using a semi-automatic handgun, a semi-automatic pistol. So it sounds like they're prohibiting the sale of aftermarket bump stocks. Any kind of, if the gun is manufactured, if it's a Tommy gun, if it's a machine gun, then it's okay if that's the way it was manufactured. But if you try to add any aftermarket accessories to turn it into a rapid fire shooting gun, well, then that's going to be a Class 2 misdemeanor for the first offense. The second offense is going to be a felony, like Class 6. So that's the main thing. This is an 18-page bill, so there's actually a whole bunch of changes here. 18 pages, it just goes on and on and on. And I highlighted a couple of things. I didn't read the whole thing, but the main thing is that it's changing machine gun conversion device to a rapid fire device. Now the thing with definitions is, well, a machine gun is a rapid fire device in of itself, is it not? But you know, Cleve Simpson, you need a bazooka. The way we kill our chickens around here is with a bazooka. Hell, we're going to get ourselves a SWAT team with a bazooka. I mean, if these guys actually believe in the Second Amendment, then he heard that somebody had fired 3 warning shots in defense of home, person, and property. Well, he probably wouldn't shit his pants. What? He shot 3 warning shots from his back porch against a guy that was threatening him? A guy that was threatening his home, person, and property? What? Just totally piss and shit his pants. What in the hell? What in Sam hell? That's not the reason why we got guns. Not to defend our person, home, or property. You ain't allowed to defend your home. You ain't allowed to defend your property. Nor can you defend yourself or other people. That is not the reason for the Second Amendment. So look at all this. My God. Each sheriff shall issue firearm safety course eligibility cards pursuant to this subsection. A card is valid for 5 years. After the date of issuance, an applicant must submit the applicant's fingerprints to the sheriff of the county or city and county in which the applicant resides, maintains a secondary residence, or owns or leases real property used by the applicant in a business. The sheriff shall take 2 complete sets of the applicant's fingerprints for the Bureau to conduct a fingerprint-based criminal history record check of the applicant. The sheriff shall submit both sets of fingerprints to the Bureau, and the sheriff shall not retain a set of the applicant's fingerprints himself. In order to get this, you got to have a minimum of 4 hours of instruction. An extended firearm safety course must provide a minimum of 12 hours of instruction, which must be provided on at least 2 different days. In order to enroll in a basic or extended firearm safety course, a person must pay to the instructor the firearms training and safety course record fees set by the Parks and Wildlife Commission pursuant to Section 33.9.115.5 and hold a valid firearms safety course eligibility card as described in subsection 5B of this section. The instructor shall remit the firearms training and safety course record fee to the Division of Parks and Wildlife. The funny thing about all these laws that they pass in Denver is that the prosecutors and the judges and the cops don't really give a goddamn flying fuck about the definitions of any of this stuff. If they kidnap you, then the entire system will just go ahead and rubber stamp as if it was the smartest decision ever. But if you have a pile of evidence that they broke all these laws, they can't be convinced by their emotions. They can't be convinced by reason. They just can't be convinced unless you got a badge and a hat and you've kidnapped the body. If you kidnap the body, I mean, there is what was that guy's name? Christopher Mondragon had shot and killed Kenny John. Are they even trying to look for this guy? I mean, he shot and killed him, stole his truck, stole his ATV, stole his trailer. Do they even give a crap? You had that David Delata that shot and killed that other guy, and they just let him after 6 months in jail. They was like, get the hell out of here. They didn't even try the case. They didn't even try the case. Recently, there was a guy that they found dead in San Luis. So we know he's not going to give a damn about, homelessness or health care for children or education. None of the important things, right? None of the important things really matter. This section does not apply to the manufacture, transfer, or sale of a specified semi-automatic firearm to a receipt or purchase of a specified semi-automatic firearm by a federal, state, or local law enforcement agency for the purpose of equipping the agency's peace officers. So the cops are allowed to have it. The cops are allowed to have bump stocks. The cops are allowed to have semi-automatic rifles, shotguns, and pistols with detachable magazines. Also, the Department of Corrections, the warden of a prison, the superintendent of a facility in which a person has been placed by transfer from a correctional facility pursuant to. So, jailers and cops, an entity that operates an armored vehicle business, they're allowed to do it. The manufacturer, the reserve, the armed services or reserve forces of the National Guard, they're allowed to have bump stocks. A gunsmith, a federally licensed firearms dealer, the transfer, whole bunch of exceptions, right? A whole bunch of words, a whole bunch of crap. The sheriff of Costilla County, he doesn't even keep up with the new laws. He don't even know what the Colorado Constitution or the American Constitution, he doesn't even know what the hell they say. Semi-automatic firearm means a firearm that is not a machine gun and that upon initiating the fire sequence fires the first chambered cartridge and uses a portion of the energy of the firing cartridge to extract the expended cartridge case, chamber the next round and prepare the firing mechanism to fire again, and requires a separate pull, release, push, or initiation of the trigger to fire each cartridge. Semi-automatic firearm includes a semi-automatic rifle, semi-automatic shotgun, or a semi-automatic handgun. Rapid fire device means any device, part, kit, tool, accessory, or combination of parts that has the effect of increasing the rate of fire of a semi-automatic firearm above the standard rate of fire for the semi-automatic firearm that is not otherwise equipped with that device, part, or combination of parts. So that's pretty crystal clear, right? So it's very specific. It's not a ban on assault weapons. It's not a ban on automatic weapons or semi-automatic weapons. It's a ban on any extra device that you add to a semi-automatic weapon to turn it into not only an automatic weapon, but just above the standard rate of what it constitutes a semi-automatic. Okay, so the next firearm, not the one. So this doesn't apply to anybody's guns right now. It applies to the new guns that you buy. Republicans argued the legislation that passed would violate the Second Amendment rights. Senate Bill 3 does not address the root cause of gun violence. Instead, it strips citizens of their means to protect themselves. I mean, these guys are a bunch of bigoted hypocrites. Because if shooting 3 warning shots in defense of home, person, and property causes them to shit their pants, well, what in the hell is this whole gun business even about? It has nothing to do with self-defense. It has nothing to do with defense of home, person, and property. They're a bunch of lying-ass, two-faced, dirty, rotten scumbags. But they're politicians, right? So, I mean, you can't trust a damn politician. I've heard a lot of people say that the whole point of the Second Amendment is to protect yourself from a tyrannical government. To protect yourself from a tyrannical government. And if you actually just read any of that text says that, well, the tyrannical government, they're allowed to have all those, bump stocks and that detachable magazine on top of their semi-automatic rifle, shotgun, and handgun. So they're allowed to have those bump stocks, but nobody else is. So this does go the exact opposite of the intention of the Second Amendment by allowing the government to, get all the guns and weapons and bazookas and tanks and planes and missiles that they want to. Plus, we're going to give $7 billion of armaments to Israel so they can murder a whole bunch of 300,000 Palestinian kids. So there's that portion of it too. And that's the bulk of what's going on. with that bill. 18-page bill, just passed the Senate. So it's most likely going to pass the House and get signed. And Cleve Simpson said that he was against it and that it doesn't strike the right balance, but then he also voted in favor of it. So crazy. I guess he's probably just going to vote how his colleagues want him to vote, so he'll go along to get along and then just tell his constituents the exact opposite what, he had told them. Well, I don't really like this bill at all. Did you vote for it? I sure did. Why'd you do that? Well, because I hated it. Are you allowed to fire a couple warning shots in defense of home, person, and property? Absolutely not, but that's in the Colorado Constitution. Well, I don't give a damn about your civil liberties. I just want the government to have as much firepower as possible. And I'm a hypocrite. And I'm a liar. Yeehaw! Yippee-ki-yay!